So I'm going to talk about why cheerleading should be a sport, and I'm going to talk about the dangers of cheer, the difference between high school cheerleading and competitive, and then all the hard work that goes into cheer. So the definition of a sport is an activity involving physical exertion and skill in which a person or a team competes against another or a group of others for entertainment. So when people think of cheerleaders, they often think of two different types, which are like the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders and their little tiny uniforms strutting their stuff, or like overly happy, like crazy, I guess, cheerleaders. But when I think of cheerleaders, I think of not just high school cheerleading, but competitive cheer. So cheerleaders aren't the only jocks, I guess, or athletes that have a concussion problem. Or sorry, football players aren't the only teams that have concussion problems. Cheerleaders have a lot of concussion issues, and cheerleading is ranked the third top three, or in the third top most dangerous sports or whatever. When cheerleaders can be tossed up to, like, in a basketball, they'll be tossed up to 20 feet maybe in the air, and if the bases aren't able to catch them, that can end pretty bad with like broken bones and neck and stuff like that. But it's also not just the flyers that get hurt. A lot of times bases end up with like broken noses. We've had a kid on our team break his arm. We've had someone almost break their collarbone, break their nose. So it's just, I don't know, a lot of times you just get hurt a lot. Cheerleading is the number one female sport and number two in the catastrophic injuries when compared to all sports, but obviously American football comes before that. Cheerleaders fall from gymnastic type stunts has been reported to have a greater impact than being tackled by a professional football player. University of North Carolina reports that 65.2% of all catastrophic injuries in youth sports are mostly from cheerleading. So the differences between competitive cheer and high school cheer. With competitive cheer, you pretty much practice every night. You don't cheer for teams like high school cheer would, and you just compete against other groups of high school cheerleading or other groups of competitive cheer. It's year round, where high school cheer you just cheer when it's football season or when it's basketball season. And for competitive teams, you have to usually have a really high set of, like, you can do all different types of like tumbling. Like this girl right here, she can tumble like crazy back and forth like 5 times. And I don't know. And then for all the hard work, so our usual practice looks like this, where it's 4 days a week, 3 days an hour, or 3 hours a day, so it'll be 12 hours a week. And then when we first get there, we'll do a big stretch, get ready to go, and then we'll go outside and condition. We'll do like a mile and a half of running. We do a lot of iron mics across like the football field. We do bear crawls and suicides, and then we re-stretch, go inside, we get a break. Then when we get ready to warm up all the stunts and have like the boys toss the girls up and stretch out and do all that stuff, and we'll practice our co-ed and libs, pyramids. We run through tumbling so everyone can warm that up, and then we practice our cheer and dance. After we do that, we do the whole routine probably about 10 times in a row to make sure we all have it memorized, and we have to make sure that we're like fit enough to actually, even though it's only 3 minutes and 20 seconds usually for a routine, by the time it's over, you're pretty much dead. So after that, we do abs, and then we just go home. And then here's just a video of like a routine. So that's just a little bit of what it looks like. So for a recap, I just talked about the dangers of cheer and how people can break all their bones, I guess, if you're not prepared for the fall or for anything. And then I talked about the dangers between competitive cheerleading and high school cheer. And I talked about just all the hard work that goes into making a competitive team.